Ladies and gentlemen, I know that we're now in the year 2025, but we got to look back to 2024 one more time because I have to grade Niantic on the year that they had with Pokemon Go. So, without further ado, let's get on with the meat of this video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. It's your boy Troy. For today's day is Friday, January the 3rd. So as you've been informed in the top of this video, at the very beginning of this video rather, I'm now about to grade everything Niantic has done throughout the year 2024. So let's not waste any time. Let's get on with this. We're going to cut this into 4 categories, and then I'm going to give them an overall grade based on the average. So let's start off with the in-game events. So looking at the in-game events, one of the things they gotta look at is Community Day. And Community Day was decent as always. Yeah, there was some Pokemon that was brand new to the game in terms of their shinies. And then there was Pokemon whose shinies were already in the game, like Chansey, for example. Now, I said this in last year's video. I'm gonna say it again here. Not every single... Now, this ain't just for Community Day, actually. Oh, no! This is for every single event that is not exactly tailored towards you, because the featured Pokemon for that event, that shiny is already in the game, or that Pokemon was already in the game and you caught it, you probably have 100 already, whatever the case may be, and that shiny is not in the game, but they want to feature it again. Not every event is for you. So doing those types of events, you can just take it easy. Don't have to, go hard on those types of events. So for example, Chansey Community Day. Now shiny Chansey be in the game already. So for that Community Day, if you were smart and you got the shiny Chansey already, got quite a few of them already, this isn't the type of event where you should be going out and grinding like crazy unless you really want to Shundo Chansey, aka Shundo Blissey for some reason. Well, for gym purposes, okay, whatever. But outside of that, that's one of the events where you just play for like 30 minutes or an hour, get like 3 shinies, whatever, and then you just relax. You relax. Don't complain about these events that feature Pokemon whose shinies were already in the game and you already got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those shinies, because not every single event is for you. Because remember, new people into the game every single day, and they might have missed out on the shiny Chansey before. So obviously they are tailored towards newer players. So whenever there's an event that is tailored towards newer players, you as a veteran, aka somebody who's been playing the game for a while, just take a siesta, relax, man, chill out. Again, don't be selfish. Not every single event in this game is for you and you only. That's not how this works. That's not how life works. Get over it, get used to it, and just relax, man, just relax. So the Community Day events, they were decent. Like there were, some good, and there was some that was meh, because again, the events that wasn't tailored towards me, I just took it easy, although I did come up with content because I have to. But for people like me who don't do content, just take it easy. So that's why I'm not giving any Community Day a bad grade or anything like that, because either they release a new shiny or a shiny that I already have, and I can take it easy if I wanted to. So there's that. Global Go Fest was good. I really, really like Global Go Fest. Obviously, if you saw my top 10 moments video, I got the shiny Corsola doing day 2. Yeah, day 2 of Global Go Fest. So obviously that was one of the highlights for me right there, or really arguably the highlight for me right there, the Global Go Fest fiasco, or the shiny Corsola fiasco. So I like that. And then they introduced a new in-game event, and that would be the Wild Area Global event. So that was a fun event, a 2-day long event, Saturday and Sunday. And they also feature mighty Pokemon. Now granted, the shinies that were out in the wild was like, man, again, Pokemon that I already had the shinies for. So in this case, it was mighty Pokemon. It was the Snorlax with the jacket. It was doing Dynamax raids for the shiny Toxtricity, Gigantamax raid with the shiny Toxtricity, and I managed to get both of those. So that's where my focus was. So with this type of event, it was like, yeah, I don't need to put a lot of focus on every single thing that was available for the event, because with the Pokemon that was spawning in the route who has shiny possibilities, I already got those and I didn't need those. So it was like, yo, I was just chilling and focusing on other stuff. So I really liked the global, or the Wild Area Global event. So I like that. That was a good touch, if I do say so myself. Now there was some good other events that was good as well. So I actually like that. And then of course they brought out 3 new Megas, and they all had their own raid day, Mega Raid Day. Not to mention, there was also the Gigantamax Raid Day events as well. So all of that was good. All that was good. I really like this. I really, really like this. So good stuff in terms of the in-game event, but there were some cons too. Speaking of, so let's talk about those cons actually. There was a lot more, I'll be honest, even though there was some good events, there was a lot more bad ones. And here's the thing, some of those new shinies for those events were locked behind paywalls, aka you have to do raids to get them, which costs money. Or you have to hatch eggs, which costs money. So there was a lot of shinies that came out doing these events that were behind paywalls. And some of those events were kind of short as well. For example, the New Year event, that lasts for like 3 days. Granted, that's always been a thing, but still, that one of many examples of events that lasted for like 3 days, maybe 4 days, whatever the case may be, as opposed to 5, 6, 7 days. So a lot of short events, in my opinion, so I didn't like that as well. And some of the events featured nothing exciting. So there was nothing exciting happening with some of these events, because again, the new shinies were behind paywalls for the most of these events, and then there was other events that might have been longer than 3 to 4 days, but there was no new shinies out and about. And again, I just said, hey, not every event is for everybody, just relax and chill. But at the same time, I felt like, and I could be wrong with this, I felt like when stuff like that happened, they only happen for events that lasted longer than the shorter events that have the new shinies behind the paywall. So we talk about 5, 6, 7 days where there's no new Pokemon that had a shiny or anything like that. And it's like, what? So I didn't like that at all. And then also, the time research were timed. I didn't like that. So the paid ones, you had to pay to get the time research, and you have to complete them at a certain period of time. Not to mention claim the rewards at a certain period of time. I didn't like that either. I always did not like that. I know they've been doing that in 2023, but I have always disliked that. So that's one of the things that I don't like. Now, there is something about that regarding the community day weekend loan event that happened in December. I'll talk about that later on in the video. So for the in-game events, I'm gonna give that a B. I would give that a B. Now let's move on to the in-person events. And unfortunately, I only been to 2 in-person, well, okay. When it comes to Pokemon Go events, I only been to 2 in-person events. So we're talking about the Go Tour in Pasadena and Go Fest in New York. I did not go to Japan. I did not go to a Safari Zone or the City Safari, anything like that. So unfortunately, there's that. But the pros, the Go Tour in Pasadena was great. The fact that I was on the Rose Bowl literally a month after Michigan won the Rose Bowl, and then they won the national championship, and then I went to the Rose Bowl Stadium after all that went down. Sentimental to me. Sentimental to me. And you know, Go Tour was great. It was happening there. It was happening all around Pasadena and LA. So obviously the span in terms of how far this event lasted, like, you know, in terms of like, oh, from Pasadena and all throughout LA, was a great idea. I really, really liked that. That was a phenomenal idea. And I couldn't think of any negatives for the Pasadena Go Tour event, but I did enjoy it nevertheless. So there's that. Go Fest in New York, it was good, just like it was the previous year. The only issue with that was the fact it was still at Reynolds Island Park. So there was that issue. But I felt like it was better this year than it was this go around rather than it was the first go around. So like that negative about it being at Reynolds Island Park, it's like, okay, it's not that bad now, but it's still there. It's still out of the way from the main city. So it's like, but outside of that, Go Fest in New York was great. Also, there was more in-person events. So we had City Safaris, we had the Safari Zone, and of course the new joint, the route area that was in Fukuoka, Japan. So a lot of in-person events happened this year, and I really, really like it. And even though this was not a Pokemon Go thing, this was a Pokemon thing, I'm talking about Worlds. So Worlds, the World event was much better at Worlds than it was outside of Worlds, like in my opinion. Like, it was phenomenal. Like, if you can go to Worlds, if you somehow can manage to snag a ticket to go to Worlds, do it. Because playing the World events at Worlds is so much better than it is outside of it. This was the case in 2013 when I was in Yokohama for Worlds. It was like that in Hawaii. last year. So I can't wait for Anaheim this year because that's gonna be crazy, and that would be doing my birthday as well. So I can't wait for that as well. Now let's look at the cons. We're already talking about one of the cons already. That's the Randall Island fiasco. So I'm not going to talk about that again. The other con is, despite the fact that there was a lot of in-person events all over the world, Australia still hasn't gotten an event. And I'm like, bro, how long has it been since the game came out, or really since the 2021 events, 2022 rather? So like, bro, I don't know whose fault it is. It could be Niantic. Now, the easy cop-out answer is Niantic, but again, it's not that simple. You have to look at Australia and say like, yo, Australia, what's the hold up here? Is it all Niantic's fault? Or do we need to look at you and say, yo, why aren't you letting Niantic host the event in your continent or country, whatever you want to call it? So you can't just look at Niantic and say, oh, it's Niantic's fault. No, we don't know that. It could be Niantic's fault, but at the same time, it could be Australia's fault. So, and again, going back to the rumor that came out in 2023 about 3 City Safaris events happening in 2024, if memory serves me correctly, I know at least one of them happened. One of them happened. The second one, I think, either happened this year or is going to happen next year. I don't remember off the top of my head. But the third one was somewhere in Australia. That hasn't happened yet. So I'm waiting on that one. And based on where I was told, even though this was like months ago since I was told this, a City Safari Zone in Australia might happen in later 2025. And yeah, that's all I got for that. Things may change. Hopefully they don't, but we'll see what happens with that. Now, in terms of the grade for the in-person event, I gotta give it an A because of the fact that the Go Tour event was great in Pasadena. The Go Fest event in New York, in my opinion, was great. There's a lot more in-person events that happen all over the world. And Worlds, the Worlds event at Worlds in Hawaii was phenomenal. So I had to give the in-person events an A. Now to look at the features. So we got the pros here. So we got Morpeko. Morpeko is the only Pokemon that can change its form in a PvP battle. So, and it actually got some play in PvP, which lead to the fact that the meta is now expanding because people are now trying more and more things. One of them being Morpeko. So now I have to come up with counters for Morpeko because I'm seeing a lot more people using that thing now. So Morpeko actually got some play. The change form fiasco is great. It's phenomenal, even though I'm sick of battling against it, but it is great. Also, the fact that they brought in Dynamax Pokemon and Gigantamax Pokemon, the fact that they just brought them in alone, that's great as well. So there's some features that are in the game that are pretty good, that are really good, really good rather. Now let's look at the cons. And even though they brought in the Dynamax rather and Gigantamax Pokemon, there's some issues with them. So for example, to take part in them, to power up Pokemon that are Dynamax Pokemon and Gigantamax Pokemon, it's all too expensive because you need max particles. But the problem is, even though you get like, what is it, 800 a day, it still costs more than that to do some of these raids, especially the Gigantamax raids, and you need 600 of them to power up a Pokemon. So now granted, it's not like there's Gigantamax Pokemon every day. They only come out when they have their own Gigantamax raid day, and we don't know if there's going to be one in January, but to do those, it's still expensive as heck to do those. But at the same time, because of the fact that there is a bit of a gap between the last Gigantamax raid day and the next one, you can obviously build up your max particles. You can get your Pokemon ready, whatever the case may be, and then yeah, you can go from there. So 800 Pokemon a day, that's like what? I mean, yeah, 800 max particles per day rather. That's like 4,000 a week. So really 4,000 a work day, Monday for Friday, and then 5,600 a week actually. So there's like, you can build them up if you go out and mess with them like that. So there's that. It's not that big of a deal, but it still is a deal that needs to be discussed. Now this one is a much bigger deal, and that is the fact that in order for you to do Gigantamax raids, you need to be a part of a large community. You must have access to a large community somewhere. And the problem is, not everybody who plays the game have this. So they can come out with all the features in row like campfires to try to help people, you know, connect with communities, things of that nature. But it's more complicated than that because people might not have a job or not have a car rather to travel you know, they might not want to take the bus because the neighborhood at the end, or the city at the end may be too dangerous, whatever the case may be. And people might be introverts, so they don't want to go out and talk to other people like that. So, and then the problem with the communities is now a lot of them are really online folks, as in they go online, they watch videos like mine to get all the research done and stuff like that. They just want to come in, attack, do like 2 or 3 of these because they're free, and then go home. And then the ones that want to grind these out, now they have to struggle. And again, they haven't done their research, so again, they not doing it, they not, you know, using the defense, they're not healing, so they're gonna struggle. So while part of that is Niantic's fault, but the other part of that is the community for not doing their research and knowing, yo, this ain't just regular Pokemon Go, attack. This is World of Warcraft where you have to defend, you have to use heals to heal yourself and your teammates, and you have to use strategy to defeat these Gigantamax raid bosses. So that part, I'll blame the community. But in terms of the fact that you need a community to do these, that's simply Niantic. Because you actually have to go out and do that as opposed to somehow remote raiding to do these. Yeah, they need to figure out a raid to set that up. Maybe like, you know how like you could trade, like once upon a time they'll be like, oh, we extended the trade distance for a limited time. Do that with raiding, with remote raiding. Oh, you can remote raid, but only within that city, within that state, whatever the case may be. So people who can't go out or who rather not go out can still do these raids. And that raid, the game would be more accessible for everybody. That portion of the game, rather, will be more accessible to everybody. So at that point, there's no excuse. If Niantic do that, there's no excuse for people to not take part in these Gigantamax raid battles. At that point, outside of the fact that they're still expensive to do, it's the community's fault for not taking part in it at that point. But until we get to that point, I have to look at Niantic and say, bruh, forcing people to go out and take part in these battles, that's not it, man. That's not it. So, looking at the features, I'm going to give them a B. I'm going to give them a B. So, they bring in some new stuff. The Morpeko, I had no problems with it. I found no cons with the Morpeko. Well, I have found some cons with the Gigantamax and Dynamax feature. So, but some of those cons is on the community fault. It's on the community to adjust that and to fix it, while the rest is on Niantic. So that's why I'm gonna give that a B. And then we got the etc. And there's really no cons with the etc. So I'm just gonna say this is an A+ right here. So what are the pros then? The pros is shiny Galarian birds are out. So yeah, people are now getting shiny Galarian birds like the cruise ship, like Mystic 7, and people who are playing the game and using the, you know, the daily adventure instance. Now I have not gotten a shiny yet, but at the same time I have not been using them like that. So one of these days I will use that in combination with the Alga and Palkia, or the Alga you know, move effect, where I can extend the length of the daily adventure instance and hopefully get a shiny Galarian bird that way. So at some point, probably when it get warmer, I will do that. But right now it's not really a priority for me to do. So there's that. But nevertheless, the fact that shiny Galarian birds are in the game and they look good, yeah, I gotta give them to it for that. And they try new stuff. So again, they brought in the Gigantamax feature and get into the community day fiasco. What they did was, instead of doing the paid time research where you had to complete it and claim the rewards before a certain point, no, the time research, they gave you that, and there was no time limit to complete all that and claim the rewards and stuff like that. And they gave a special research where that idiot Willow doesn't have to show up. So that was good too. So both of those things I really, really like. That should be a thing for all the events. So take away the pay, well, not take away the paid time research, but take away the fact that you have to complete them at a certain point in time before they run out. Get rid of that part. If they want to keep, you know, the paid time research in there, I have no problem with it, because it's a free to play game. They gotta make their money. But the fact that, oh, you paying $5 to do this, but you have to do it in a certain point in time, I'm like, no, take that part out. Take that part out. But with the essential part, I'm gonna give them an A+. So overall, they improved from 2023 in my opinion. I'm gonna give them an A- overall. I think 2023 I gave them a B-. So they went up a grade from B- to A- if memory serves it correctly. Alright, so if you reached this point in the video, leave in the comment section below, grade. If you reached this point in the video, leave in the comment section below, grade. And at the very end, you should see 2 cards. One of them will be something that YouTube recommend, while the other one will be my very last video, which was My top 10 moments video, if memory serves it correctly. Nope, that's not accurate. It's the Fashion Week news. That's what it was. That's what it was. So check out both of those videos, and I'm gonna call it a wrap. So with all that said, y'all know who this is. I can't talk. Y'all know who this is. This is your boy, the new Jay Gatsby. I don't know what's going on with me. Y'all know who this is. This is your boy, the new Jay Gatsby, aka New Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah. Subscribe. Thanks, man. Do it. After you subscribe to the channel, make sure you click the bell icon so you never miss a new video or a live stream ever again. Thanks, guys.
Lewis the trainer, articulating paint. With my tongue, I done things that people said I can't. Now they rank 'em with the elite, but it's for the people, and victory is part of defeat. Cause when you get back on your feet, then you try again. Learn from mistakes, show 'em that I got what it takes, and I'm dying to win. I'ma hit and move away.